Hey guys, it's Kiki Garcia, and it's time for another episode of Keeping It Real. I think that's what we're going to go with the name. I kind of like that. So earlier this week, I was talking about feeling stuck. I feel like part of me is doing great, but of course, the little dark side angel on my shoulder is making me feel like I'm not getting enough accomplished with all this quarantine time at home. I feel like I should be learning a language and starting a business and losing 50 pounds. And, it's hard sometimes. Sometimes you're having great days, and sometimes you just feel like you cannot get going. And that's why I invited Nika Lawrie to be with me today because she has some tips for us when it comes to being stuck and not feeling alone. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So being stuck, feeling stuck, trying to get unstuck, am I alone? Because I know it's a very lonely feeling. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one. I feel like everyone else is living this fabulous life and I can't move.
So I'm actually really glad you said that because that is one of the most common things I hear, especially for women. And it's actually kind of leads into one of my really good tips for kind of getting unstuck is I think we really face a lot of kind of comparison overload. We're always, especially with social media being in our face constantly, back in the day, and I don't want to age myself here, but back in the day, we usually just had magazines or, the actresses on TV to compare ourselves. So it wasn't quite as much. We still had this normal interaction with friends and family and, our general community. But with social media, we see people, especially women all over the world. And, a lot of social media is really driven by fitness and lifestyle stuff. And so it's always kind of this big grand thing. And so what happens is we spend all this time looking at how great everybody else really is, when in reality, we're all just posting our best pictures. We're not really posting, my hair is off like this in the middle of the day and, I look like a crazy person. But the truth is that we are comparing ourselves to the very best of everybody else. We're not comparing ourselves to the reality of what everybody else is doing or how their lives really are. And so what happens from that is, we start to feel like we're not good enough, like we are overweight or we're not healthy enough. We start to feel like we haven't done enough in our life. And the reality is that you are actually right where you're supposed to be. And, you aren't on the same path as those other people. So there's not really a reason for us to compare ourselves to them, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. It's so funny you should say that. I actually have a competition going with two women in town, and they have no idea. And I'm that person. I'm checking their social media.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is a safe space, and we could be honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like checking their social media and saying, well, what did they do today? And how come I'm not doing that? And blah, blah, blah. And it's all in my head. They probably don't even, I'm probably not even like on their radar.
Yeah. And the thing is that you're not alone. All of us are doing that all the time, kind of subconsciously. And we're kind of our own worst enemies in that sense where, we're in our heads thinking, I'm not good enough, or I haven't done enough, or like, they're farther along in life than I am. And, what am I doing? Like, I'm so bad at this because I'm not doing it. The reality is like, you're probably doing the best you can. And these other people aren't comparing themselves to you. They're probably comparing themselves to people who are farther along in whatever they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So it's this kind of cycle that we really have to kind of take hold of our thoughts and the way we process things. And really, one of my favorite things to talk about is looking at truths versus beliefs. So is whatever I'm hearing in my head a truth? Is it a fact? Or is it a belief or a story that I'm telling myself? And 9 times out of 10, when it's something that's making us feel uneasy or lack confidence and stuff, it's usually just a belief or a story that we're telling ourselves, opposed to a truth or a fact.
Wow. Okay. That is deep. And boy, yeah, I need to start doing that because I know I'm doing it in my head. And,
yeah.
And it's not fair.
No, it's not fair. I mean, at the end of the day, it ends up hurting yourself opposed to anyone else, really, but then it has the trickle effect of hurting your loved ones around you too, because you're struggling, and it hurts those relationships.
So do you have a few tips for us to help us get unstuck? How can we kind of jumpstart that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things I'll tell you is to stop looking at the past. And I know that sounds almost impossible because we all do it. But if you keep looking in the past, you don't have any energy or time to look at your future or plan for your future. So many of us just kind of live in the now, and we just kind of let things happen to us, opposed to really investing time in ourselves to get focused on where we want to go and who we want to become. And so if you stop thinking about the past so much, we can't change what happened. We are where we are. We've done what we've done. We are who we are now. But what you do have control over is the time that you invest in the future. And so you can keep spinning your wheels now, or you can stop and decide to make a game plan for who you want to become and what you want to accomplish in life. So the tip is stop looking at the past and start thinking about the future. That's kind of the first one. The other tip I'll really give that kind of relates to that is just to give yourself some grace. Give yourself some room to be imperfect, because none of us are perfect, and you don't really want to be perfect because perfect would be boring, honestly. It's their weird intricacies and our weird, mishaps. And, the best stories we have are when we did something stupid when we were, 20 or something, right? Like those are the best things. And so giving yourself grace to make mistakes and to be imperfect and to struggle from time to time, that's a really big thing to kind of help you kind of just make peace with the past and what's happened, and make peace with who you are now, so that you can start working on the future. Does that make sense? Kind of letting things go.
Totally. It totally
Yeah,
makes sense. And it's good to know. So what you're saying is I'm not the only one who beats myself up like every other
absolutely.
day.
Yeah, absolutely not. So I have been doing, self-help, personal development, health coaching for years and years and years now. I got kind of obsessed with personal development probably when I was like 20 or 22, scheduling, or I don't know why I said scheduling, but years ago. I don't know where that came from. Anyways, about 2022, something like that. And, I was struggling and just trying to figure out myself. And, I'm in my mid 30s now, and I still struggle. And I mean, my job is to help women get healthy and feel good and create a life that they want to have. And, the fact that it's my job and I'm helping women and I still struggle with it, that should tell you that you're not alone. Like, we're all kind of fighting those demons in our head. So it's okay that you're not crazy. You're normal, feeling stuck and uncomfortable.
I love that, because that's exactly it. I sit here and I've gotten better. It used to be every single day I was beating myself up, and I have two biggies. It was always money and my weight every
Mhm.
single day. And I'd be like a nervous wreck, and I wasn't getting anywhere. I
Mhm.
decided to let it go a little bit. So now I don't do it as much. Maybe I want to say like every other day, but maybe not even that much, at least a couple of times a week. But you can't. I mean, it makes it stifles you even more. I feel like it
Mhm.
it like almost like strangulates you more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my advice for that kind of thing is to start small. Like, to get unstuck, the biggest thing that you have to do is take action. You have to start to make change in your life. And the only way that you really create positive, lasting change in your life is by adding new habits or new behaviors. It's all about behavior change. And the most successful way that you'll do that is by adding little small things to your life. So for example, for all of us women that want to lose weight and get healthy and feel good and stop being so fatigued and have more energy, because we're responsible for the whole world basically all the time, right? And so the thing is, don't look at like, I need to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever it is that everybody feels that they need to lose. Look at it as like, I need to lose my first pound. How am I going to do that? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what kind of physical activity I can do that's right for my body, right? So it's not even doing the physical activity yet. It's just taking the little step to figure out what you're going to be comfortable doing. And maybe you need to talk to your doctor about it, or, somebody, a professional and that kind of thing. Maybe you already know what you're able to do, but just figuring out what you want to do. The next thing would be to take that first step. Go for a 10-minute walk, start small. You don't run a marathon your first try. You have to build up to it, right? So if you add those small little steps, one at a time, they start to build on each other. And so that grows over time to become something really big. But you got to break it down to small little pieces. You can't look at the big overwhelming thing, because you'll get overwhelmed and you won't do it. Same kind of thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go.
Oh, I was going to say, same kind of thing works for finances. If you have school loans or debt, or, something that you're struggling with, start with something small. If you have school loans, put an extra $10 a month towards those school loans, towards the principal. It's not going to, change everything. It's not going to make it go away over, like right away. But over time, that $10 is going to compound on itself, and it's really going to add up, and you'll get closer to your goal in the long run. The thing is to take small steps and to take some kind of action.
I love it. So if people want to get in touch with you, where can they do that? How can they get in touch with you?
So I'm on pretty much every platform. I haven't yet got on the TikTok thing yet. I'll probably get there. But any other platform or online, you can find me at Nika Lawrie. So it's NikaLawrie, and you can find my website, same thing, nikalawrie.com. And I've got tons of free resources, especially meant for women and getting healthy and getting unstuck and finding happiness on my website. So it's a good resource.
Thank you so much for being with us, and I hope you join me again, because I have so much stuff we could talk about.
Oh, I would love to anytime. So let me know. I want to be here for you and your followers and just support you all. So definitely let me know. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.